Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome in to another edition of the JP Peterson Show. I believe it's Wednesday. Is that true? It is hump day.
Hump day.
Some days, bro. Some days they just kind of get you. Welcome into the show. You know what it is? It's baseball season. Woo! We are so excited. I hope you are. Good morning to you, IndyCar Tim. How are you in our Dallas affiliate?
Good morning. I'm doing well here in the DF Dub in the 214. Actually, I live in the 972, but we associate ourselves with the 214.
You are the 214.
Yeah.
Are we the 813 or the 727?
I think y'all are the 813. By the way, we have a new area code popping on here in the Dallas area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like as if we didn't have enough. Now, you and I are old enough to remember.
That's not a congratulations, I don't think. I don't think you want a new area.
No, and remember, it was because of fax machines that we had to expand area codes. And then it was because of cell phones that we had to expand area codes again. So now I don't know what the reason is other than just population now that we have to have now like a fifth area code in the DFW area.
But so many people don't even have home phones anymore. Like home phones are gone. So those numbers are back in play.
Would think,
right? Yeah. But who has, I guess a lot of people have two cell phones.
Yeah. I had two for a while.
God, I taking
had
care
one
of
for
one
my side
for
pieces and then one for the family, you know.
The bitches and hose line? You had a bitches and hose
the B&H line, yeah. You had to have a B&H phone.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if you start dating somebody and they got two phones, that might be a red flag. That might be a red flag.
You know who has two phones that we know? You know who has two phones that we know? The great Johnny Gerber.
Yeah, see, he's one of them shady dudes.
Yeah,
he's one of them shady dudes. No, important rich people have two phones. Is that the way it works?
I guess. I never hear the other one ring, so I don't know what it is. It might be his dealer. I don't know.
Are we going to hear yours ring today? That's what everybody wants to know.
Look, the switch is off. The switch is off. I will show it on camera. The switch is off. So I don't know.
Did you hear mine? Mine just went off because I heard that. How about that? Pot, meat, kettle. All right.
It's racist.
So I mean, before we get started, I think everybody is on the edge of their seats with the announcement I made at the end of the show yesterday, and you have to know how my date went last night with my good friend Brian Frasulo.
Yes, your mandate night. They're coming to America.
We're coming to America. We went to see because the lovely Ashley was not into seeing Neil Diamond, and and Brian and I were clearly the youngest people there.
Really? Wow.
No, there were some young people, but not many. So it was the Neil Diamond musical at the Straz, and let me just tell you, it was awesome. The Sweet Caroline, the intermission and the end of the show was absolutely wonderful. The guy who played Neil Diamond, the younger Neil Diamond, there was an older Neil Diamond and a younger Neil, was off the freaking chain. Yeah, absolutely incredible.
It's awesome, though. I love Neil Diamond, man.
Yeah,
Neil Diamond is on my bubble bath playlist that I have on Spotify, by the way.
Yes. All right, hold on. I have to double punch here. I'm trying to get the invite to our guest this morning, Evan Closky.
You know, I can do that before the show starts for you if that will help alleviate some of the work.
Yeah, probably. We'll just entertain the people while I get it to them right now because my brain.
So JP is going to go off today in case you boys and girls that are listening don't know. It's time to look at MLB team payrolls.
Yes.
And we're going to get into a little bit of the raise because it's not good, buddy. Not that we expected it to be $200 million. And they're not the lowest, as we were discussing during our pre-show meeting.
No, they are not.
They're not the Miami Marlins of Miami.
They are not.
But they're also not the Rangers or the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Mets, which they never will be. They'll never – I don't even know how the Rangers have that kind of money. But they're not going to be a top. I don't know that they'll ever be a top 10 payroll, but we're going to get into a little bit of the payroll and maybe some very curious, maybe sort of dead money. Not that there's a salary cap, but some dead money on the payroll that we may have discovered
the numbers
this morning.
Give them the numbers before I lose my brain.
So your Tampa Bay Rays out of 30 MLB teams sit at $72,616,545. $72.5 million.
Right.
By comparison, FanStream Sports, the New York Mets are number one at $311 million.
$311 million. Holy moly.
By more comparison, let's just go with the middle of the road, all right? The number 15 out of 30 teams, because it's in the division.
In
the
your
Baltimore
division.
Orioles, $151 million.
$151 million.
Yep. The Yankees, as we stay in division, they're number 4, $275.6 million.
Yeah.
So they're way behind even their crosstown rival Mets. Good God, I don't know that I ever thought in my lifetime I'd see a $300 million baseball payroll. No. I don't know that I ever thought I'd see a $200 million baseball
or
payroll.
A $750 million contract.
Good. I mean, we're going to have a $1 billion contract in the next 2 years, aren't we?
Well, what did Shohei get? I know it's all deferred, which is weird, but
yeah, that's part of the weird stuff about these contracts. Even in the NFL, you have void years and all that crap. Shohei's, as we work the Google machine, it's $700 million, 10 years, $700 million.
Yeah, it's insane. And obviously this is attached to market size.
Yeah.
But it's not because obviously Tampa Bay is the 11th largest market. I mean, you look at in Chicago White Sox. What is Chicago? The third largest?
62.2. Yeah, they've got a $62 million.
Yeah. Obviously, the Cubs are dominant in that market, but they're still in Chicago. It's a split market, so it's a little bit different. Oakland now playing in Sacramento and Miami. And I was doing the numbers on some of the ticket plans. So when you looked at the tickets that the Rays are putting out in their new ballpark, because everybody's going to give them the excuse that, they're in their new ballpark. I think it's basically 150. So you do 11,500, which is the capacity, times 150 times 81, and you get $140 million. So $140 million in ticket revenue, and your payroll is $72 million.
Boom.
And that's not counting local TV. That's not counting sponsorships. That's not counting radio. That's not counting any of those extra revenue. So,
it should be embarrassing. I mean, it should be.
It is
embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. It's ridiculously embarrassing. Well, let's talk to a man who was down there with the Rays yesterday. Eric Neander and Kevin Cashford did their media availability. The great Evan Closky from Tampa Bay's 10 joining us here. Out on the porch on this beautiful day.
What's up, Evan?
Tampa Bay. How nice is the weather?
We back on the porch. Yeah, it's beautiful.
There he is.
And the fact is there's no work being done out here, so you can actually come out here.
Are you on the porch with the puppy?
The dog is actually eating right now, but
okay.
Wait, no, the dog's coming.
Oh, yeah, there he is. There he
he just nicks the camera.
He just
Look at the good puppy dog did.
See what I'm trying to get the dogs involved, and it just
there we go.
Sorry. All right, puppy dog. Don't shut off the camera again.
Oh, someone actually just called me right there. So it was,
okay. No. Come on, we're doing big time TV here. Jesus,
come on,
let's go. So how was it being? Even though you didn't get to hear, the bat hit the ball and the gloves and all that stuff. They weren't working out yesterday. How was it down there? Just to get baseball back.
It was a beautiful day in Port Charlotte, and I actually got there really early because I was concerned about potentially the traffic. So I was there. I was able actually to talk with Pepio and Littell and Caminero all before the press conference began. So it was actually a really laid back atmosphere. Caminero, by the way, looks good. Like
Yeah.
he not like he lost weight, but you could definitely tell that he maybe toned up on his body, which
Mm-hmm.
is a great thing to see. And otherwise, though, I think there was it was just nice to be down there talking some baseball with some people, right?
Yeah.
This whole off season for
Ugh.
us, I think even the players and their group chats, they've been talking about just some stuff that's been coming up in the news and the city council stuff, and obviously what's going to happen with the Rays, where they're going to play, all this stuff. And so to be in camp now, they can actually put one foot in front of the other and say, all right, like we know what we're doing, let's just play ball.
Do they care about the? I mean, I know they care about the stadium stuff, but they don't get all wrapped up in it crazy stuff like we do, right? They're just, where are we going to play, right? Pretty
No,
much.
yeah, I think that most of it was, it's something that they can't control. So from that perspective, it kind of is what it is for them. But
Mm-hmm.
they, from what they were telling us, Eric was in conversations with the players constantly over where they were going to play and was seeking their input. I think all the players, generally speaking, at least from what I've been told, right? They all wanted to stay in the Bay Area, so
Mm-hmm.
they did not want to move to in Omaha. They said they all saw it out there, but Littell told us that pretty much it seemed like it was going to be Clearwater or Tampa, like
Right.
from the get go. And even though he saw like rumors pop up in different places, his vibe was always going to be it was going to be one of those two places, and all
They
the
like
players are
Steinbrenner.
confident.
They like
Yeah, yeah,
Steinbrenner. Yeah.
yeah, and they said they don't really have concerns. Some of the players said they haven't been there yet, and they're going to be the renovations, but they've played there in the past and aren't too worried about it. Um, Talked with a staffer as well who is close with some people with the Yankees, and they kind of told him the same thing of like, oh yeah, like you're that place is better than some facilities you'll be throughout the year. So they'll be just fine in Steinbrenner. And some of these players, they live in St. Pete. They bought down there to be in close
Close.
proximity
Right.
to
Right.
to their
Right.
prof- to their work. But in the end, for them, it was a best case scenario, at least to stay in the Tampa Bay area and not have to like move their family for the summer. So that was fine by them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, what did you get? What was your takeaway from the press conference yesterday? What was your biggest takeaway?
I'll tell you this: I was impressed with Eric Neander's honesty. There was
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
sugarcoating it. He was asked, right? He was asked about the offense, and he said, my expectations that it's going to be an average offense, and if things break our way, we have a chance to be above average. His thing was last year we were probably a worst case scenario. In 2023, or it's in 2023, we were a best case scenario, and then probably in 2022, we were a worst case scenario. So he said, he's waiting for some of that to level out, that we've gone through extreme, 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 and that he expects to at least see some sort of positive regression. But, pretty much a signal to fans, hey, they, they believe that there's just going to be improvement, the natural improvement with the offense. Just don't expect them to be a top 10 offense, and not necessarily. And in their eyes, I don't think they believe they have to be with the pitching staff that they have and the stable that they have in their arms, and how much they're going to put on their plate to make sure that they are, that they're winning games by not giving up too many runs in the process. Also, Kevin Cash saying that the number one talking point in the spring or in spring training will be we got to get the guy home from third. There were
Yes.
only two teams in Major League Baseball history worse than the 2024
Oh my
Rays
God.
with
Wow.
runners in scoring position since 1969. They
Holy
were
shit.
212 with runners in scoring position. So Kevin said they're going to try to do situational hitting a lot more than they've done in the past. They are going to try to practice more bunting. He said that, probably like he's explained it before, bunting is very hard. It's
Yeah.
not as easy as fans think, especially with how pitching is these days. But they
It's
are going to
true.
try it. He said they are going to try a bunch of things in the spring and hammer home the point, get the guy home from third. So
that's good to hear.
with,
When I heard
yeah,
that, I
exactly.
was like, and I'm not sure who asked the question about, playing a little bit more small ball, but for God's sakes, look at the players that you have. He has no choice. They've got to play small ball. I mean, there's no power on this team, or very little, and certainly no guaranteed power. It's all, potential power. Caminero got power. Josh Lowe's got power. Brandon Lau's got power, but you just can't count on it, especially in the latter two. And Caminero, obviously at 21 years old, is unproven, but certainly great potential. So yeah, small ball is the answer, but they don't hit for average. So it's kind of hard to play small ball when you can't get people on base either.
Yeah, that's the tough part. And, I think, Kevin, I think kind of gave himself the modifier, just, letting people know, hey, if like Yandy Diaz is up there at the plate, he's not going to bunt, right? If Caminero's up there, he's not going to bunt. So it's not like one of those things where you can just bunt, like, oh, we're gonna bunt. But I do believe that at least the offense is going to do. They're going to improve because they have to improve, right? Naturally, even in a bad case scenario, they're not going to hit 212 with runners in scoring position. So naturally, they're going to score more runs because they're going to have a little bit more success in that area, because that was a historic effort. But it was just good to hear, Kevin, at least, I think being self-aware. I think that was maybe, if there was one way to describe it, self-aware. We know our faults. We are going to try to improve them, and we are going to work our asses off to try to figure it out, because Kevin also said that the one pop.
Oh,
we've lost him.
The dog did it again.
We've gone into
somebody called him. There he is.
I never get more than one call in a day. Today I'm getting 9 calls. It's crazy. But yeah, just mostly, I forgot my train of thought. Even
you were saying that they're self-aware and offensively, and they're gonna, have to play some small ball. Yeah, if there should be a rule, if you're hitting under 250, which that's the entire team almost last year, you have to be able to bunt.
Major League Baseball.
You have to be able to bunt. Like, you got to be able to bunt. If you can't hit more than 250, then you have to be able to bunt if you're a major league player. And I know it's hard, but work at it. Work at it. Hey, Taylor Walls, work at it. I mean, there were times last year when he came up with runners in scoring position, less than 2 out, and he's swinging away. I'm like, dude, you're hitting 112. Like, you get the ball on the effing ground and move a runner over. That's all we're asking. It's not that hard. I know pitching is ridiculously hard. I get it. But if that's something that you could really work on, you can really control, and you can be better at. And I doubt Taylor Wall spent a whole lot of time last year bunting in the cage, but he should have.
Well, you know what I also, again, speaking to being self-aware, I also like the fact that they, Eric said, look, this offseason, we felt like we needed to raise our floor up the middle, catcher, shortstop, center field, without sacrificing too much defense. And he said, they obviously value defense at those positions, but they had to not hit, you can't also hit that poorly. That's unacceptable either. At some point, you're not. It's diminishing returns. So bringing it, they spoke so highly about Danny Jansen. He's just got to stay healthy. Danny Jansen, who also I think was part of the Blue Jays during the whole Dunedin Blue Jays team. So they said he brought great perspective with that. Ha-Sung Kim, I think, was a from their eyes, someone they prioritized, and a little bit of a coup that they were able to get him and kind of work with a plan with the Boris Corp to say, hey, let us be the patient ones that nurse him back to health. We'll give him playing time, and then maybe you can go out there and seek that $100 million contract you want. And then, of course, hoping that they don't lose as much in center field defensively, having Johnny DeLuca out there, or Josh Lowe, considering how good Jose Siri was. But Siri, just as fun as he was sometimes, we all there's a week or two where Siri is just everything. And but there was just a lot of stuff there with Siri.
Evan, I haven't read the transcript from yesterday yet, and then we're going to watch some of the video here for probably a little bit later in the show. But did they mention anything about some of the personnel, like the expectation for Shane McClanahan to come back, or I know Kim probably won't be here till May or so, but do they give any updates on any of those guys?
Yeah, Kim Neander didn't want to put like a hard date on it, but still that late May. And he said, there's a potential that maybe he can return earlier May as maybe just a DH and not playing shortstop yet and get him a few licks. But yeah, playing shortstop probably late May. And McClanahan, all good reports. Pepio said he watched McClanahan throw a session this offseason and was wowed by him, said he was already pumping, like 97, 98. And Pepio was like, man, I'm hitting 90, 91. I'm like, holy crap, this guy is ready to go. Littell, same thing. Very impressed with what Shane has looked like. Kevin said that he left last year a healthy pitcher this offseason. He, all good reports, everything looking clean. And Kevin also mentioned that you can't understate how important it is to bring a guy like Shane McClanahan back into your rotation, who people might have forgotten was arguably one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, before his elbow got wonky. So I think everyone is very excited about Shane. And as of right now, all 6 pitchers, if the season started today, they're ready to go.
Yeah, I was interested. 10-game winners last year, right? Nobody had 10 wins, so I know they're looking forward to improving on some of that too, to get some wins in the win column.
Just get healthy and be out there. I don't know if they had anybody start more than 25 games last year.
Yeah,
there was a lot of injuries in the pitching staff. So it's almost comical at this point because nobody really asked yesterday about the fact that they have the 4th lowest payroll in baseball, and they have huge deficiencies offensively. And the 3 guys that they brought in are averaging 9 home runs from last year. And the guys that they lost in Paredes, Siri, and who else? Randy, were their 3 top home run hitters. I mean, it's really obvious. And I should have dragged my fat ass down there to ask that question, but I didn't. But my point is, we don't even ask about it anymore. And I'm not blaming you for not, because it's just such a given. And my question is, why is it a given? You have the 4th lowest payroll in baseball. You have the 2nd worst offense, and you don't go out and sign a hitter, like a legitimate hitter. I mean,
his answer would be Ha-Seong Kim and Danny.
Come
Jansen.
On now.
Ha-Seong
Kim is injured, number 1, and
I'm with you. But
he averages about 12 home runs a year.
Yeah, I think
he's a leadoff hitter. I don't expect power from him. I mean, that's a great addition, no question about it.
Yeah,
but you didn't sign anybody. You didn't sign one. And my point is, you don't think Eric Neander wanted to go out and sign a big bopper? Of course he did. Maybe 2. I mean, what baseball man in his right mind would look at this team and say, well, what the hell? What were you doing? Why didn't you go out and sign some hitters? I mean,
I think that.
And I'm not blaming you.
I think it's a fair thing. And like for me on my side of things, it's funny because I asked, how hard. There are ways to kind of ask the question and try to see what path they go down. I asked like how hard this offseason was, considering everything happening off the field, to do your job.
Yes.
Right. And so
it's a great question.
I kind of try to open up that lane that way. The thing is, the truth is, at least from my perspective, we've asked Neander that question before, right? We usually get the same response of, Stu doesn't give us a hard number. We go out there. Obviously, we're not going to spend like the higher end clubs, but we do what we think is right. We believe in these guys. We think Morel is good. We don't want to block anybody. We think Morel is going to do this, and Caminero can do this, and Josh Lowe is going to be back to 2023 form. And typically when I know the answer, I don't, It is what it is, and that's kind of where I lean on that stuff. It's totally a fair point by you, and it's totally a fair point for any fans who ask that question. It's just one of those things where I would rather ask that question at this point to Stu than to Eric, because I think Eric is just there's there's only so much he can do in that
I
spot,
know.
and he's got to make sure that he doesn't throw his boss under the bus. So it's one of those things where if I ask a question, I know I'm not getting a really truthful answer, and I don't blame Eric for that.
Right, right.
It's kind of just us like wasting time in a sense, because I
I
know you're not
agree.
going to give me what is probably the truth, and you're going to pump your players. Now, having said that, I will say there are guys on this team who have to prove which direction they're going to go.
Yeah.
Is Morel a thing? Is Josh Lowe a thing, or was he a one-hit wonder in 2023? Is Jonathan Aranda finally a thing? Like, there are a bunch of players who are going to have playing time this year, who deserve the playing time and have to prove, hey, it's put the chips in the middle, put up or shut up time. Like,
Yep.
there's no next year. If you don't prove it this year, we got to move on. So I at least am willing to see it this year, especially considering that they have those guys in the minors who, starting next year and a little bit maybe into this year, you're going to see some of this deep farm system come up to the team and really start building upon what should be a championship caliber club here in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I agree, and with everything you said. And I think it is a fair question, but you know exactly the answer you're going to get. Oftentimes, though, you will get Neander to make a quip or two. Like I've seen him do it on MLB Network, where they're
Yeah,
it's kind of
true.
like
He does do it.
yeah, behind the scenes. He won't do it in this setting, but I think when he's doing national stuff, and that when the cameras are turned off, they're probably all going, Jesus, how do you do this, man, with two arms tied behind your back? He'll make a quip here and there, but yeah, you're right. He's not going to answer it that way.
To his credit, as I said, very self-aware, right? Hey, we got an average offense. We think we're going to be average, maybe above average. He also said, look, when asked about the adversity, he was pretty much like, we've been dealing with this crap ever since we've been the Rays.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty much like, everyone's talking about, all these uncertainties. This is what we know. This is what we do. It was an awesome soundbite. He's like,
yeah,
we live in the gray. We find ways to be a successful team. We made it to 2 World Series. We had the third most wins since becoming the Rays, and we all did so with this cloud over our head. So
it's incredible.
This is what we do, is what his quote was. And so that's what, when you talk about the mentality of this team, for us, we're talking about it, some of the players are talking about it, but for Eric and the people in charge, they're able, and he's able to put his head down and get the job done, because he understands the song and dance of what Stu is, and he's been quite successful at making it work, and it's why Stu, Matt, Brian, they all know how good Eric is, and they've made sure that throughout all the years they've held on to him.
Yeah, which I don't know how they've done that. That's insane.
It's true.
Why he stays, because he could go. I'm sure he's gotten offers to go just about anywhere in baseball. But,
yeah, I think A, family, B, I think he loves the challenge. I really do think that there's something gratifying about hey, I don't have everything at my fingertips, and I'm still going to find ways to beat you. And he's come really close. He's that close. He's a super competitive dude. I think that I love the fact that he accepts that challenge. I love that in athletes, and for him, I think that he is somebody that says, hey, I'm not going to run away from more money. We can do it. We can figure it out. And they're, I don't know if it's going to be this year. I wouldn't put my bet on it, but soon they are building a team that looks like they're going to be championship caliber in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I hope you're right. And he has done an amazing job for what he's working with. And I guess there's less pressure here. You're kind of always playing with house money. If you win, it's like, wow, that's incredible. If you lose, you're like, look at the payroll. Look what he's working with. Look at the stadium. Look at all this.
You're
how
right.
can anybody do this? So, but good for him. And Kevin Cash, let's talk a little bit about him before we let you go. Kevin Cash. I mean, I think he's the best manager in baseball to deal with, everything that you just talked about, all those things. He's got to deal with that as it manifests on the field. And, he's the last line of defense. And he has pulled more out of this, made more chicken salad out of chicken shiz than any manager in baseball. I don't know if he gets the credit for that. Obviously, he's won Manager of the Year multiple times, but still, what were your thoughts on some of his demeanor yesterday? He seems to be renewed as well.
Yeah, he's fired up. Kevin is such an even keeled guy that it's tough to remember that he's got like this competitive fire in him.
Yeah,
He was not happy with last year, not happy with a lot of things, to be honest, and he is going to figure it out, right? He is, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves because a lot of times the way that he manages the bullpen, which I think is maybe sometimes a little too hands on, but sometimes but a lot of times he saves his pitchers from themselves too. And we play that game throughout a 162 game season of where he's nailing it and where maybe he's getting a little bit too handsy on the bullpen. But he has a great feel for the clubhouse, his players, managing the personalities. I think the past couple of years, maybe. For once in probably this organization's history, the clubhouse was a little bit. They
I
had some
agree.
things to figure out,
I agree.
and
I agree.
they had the whole Wander Franco situation where Kevin had to go out there and say he was being a bad teammate. That like, whoa, like what manager puts his player out like that? It's bad when a manager has to do that. But Kevin protects all of his players. Like there's the past couple of years, there's been a lot that's happened, and he's protected them outside of Wander Franco. And I think that is a really big part about being a big league manager, about being a coach in any professional sport, is you got to make sure that the players have the buy-in. All the players respect him. I think he does do the lineup. Eric Neander did say, "Hey, by the way, guys, like I don't do the lineup. Kevin does the lineup." And he's an old school guy that is very much attuned to what the new school needs to be.
Right.
I sometimes, my only thing with Kevin is, bro, just trust your gut sometimes. Like
Yeah.
you know what's going on. Like
He's a little too
sometimes
analytics driven. Yeah.
sometimes make the emotional move sometimes. You're allowed to, once in a blue moon, make the emotional move if you feel it is right and in your gut. And that's, I think, some of the best NFL coaches we see do that.
Yeah.
Hey, analytics might have said this, but with the way that our defense is playing and the way that I'm seeing this game fall out, I said go for it
Yeah.
because I just like it. I know what my two eyes are telling me. So I think that he can probably lean into more of his instincts, but no, I think energized is the best word, and I think he wants to prove that last year was an anomaly, and ultimately, like, he's ready to get after it.
All right, before you go, just a thought on the Bucs offseason. The Super. What did you learn from about the Bucs from that? Watching the Eagles, a team that they kicked their ass. The Bucs kicked the Eagles' ass. Kicked the Kansas City Chiefs' ass. I just cannot. I kept thinking to myself, man, this team underachieved. This roster underachieved. I think they should have at least beat Washington and maybe, been better. Fourth best offense. I don't know. I know they had a lot of injuries on defense, but 2-6 in one score games. I think they underachieved when I look at it now, especially because they went toe to toe with the Eagles in the trenches. And that's the reason why they kicked the Kansas City Chiefs ass. And if you can do that, you should have been better than 10-7. You should have been better than a home loss.
Yeah, to an extent. I will say with the Eagles were week 4 before a bye. No Devonta Smith, no AJ Brown, no Landon Dickerson. So at least a bad defense was able to play a really, it was
No
Saquon
Kalijah
Barkley
Kansky, no Antoine Winfield.
Paris Campbell was their second wide receiver. Yeah, no, the Bucs had their own things too. It was just a different team back then for both the Eagles.
I agree.
Just also schematically pre-bye, I think post-bye they changed a lot of things. So it was just one of those things. You caught them at the right time. I do think that to an extent, yes, the Bucs underachieved, but also, I love the Jalen Hurts quote, right? Offense wins games, defense wins championships. And in the end, I think the Buccaneers, regardless of, I think they should have won that game against the Commanders if they don't make a boneheaded fumble there.
Yep.
But ultimately, like the Lions as well, the Lions defense was simply not going to make it all the way to hoist the Lombardi, as much as we tried to will that in our head. And the same thing is true with the Buccaneers defense. There's just only so much they can do. And to going back to your point, I think they are a Super Bowl contender if you get a 1A pass rusher on that defensive line. They are a dramatically different group. And you saw it because, look, they're not going to be able to fill every hole. But the secondary isn't as much of a problem if you have a stout defensive line putting pressure on the QB. So, you get let's just put Josh Sweat there. Let's just say that they don't even make a trade for a Trey Hendrickson. Let's just put Josh Sweat there. Josh Sweat and Yaya Diaby. That's a pretty formidable pass rush with Yaya and Vita
Vea.
And Vita Vea. Sorry, that's what I meant. Canty and Vita Vea. So that would cause problems. Now, I think Hendrickson, it would be a game changer. I think Josh Sweat would definitely help significantly. But that's why I think that if I'm Jason Light, I'm doing it. Like I see the window. It's the time is now. Let me get Trey Hendrickson. Let me trade the second and a fifth. And I think you make a few draft picks, sign a couple people, and you're one of the teams to beat in the NFC.
I agree.
Like you are a top 5 offense. You're returning pretty much everybody as we assume that Chris Godwin's going to be back. Like you have the guys. You are built in the trenches on the offensive side. If you build in the trenches defensively, convince Levante to come back for one more year, sign a linebacker, draft another one, get a cornerback, in draft and free agency. Boom. You have the money, push the chips in. I'll be out here talking about how this team is probably being undersold as one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. So that I think they're close. But right now, as we sit here today, they ain't because they don't have a 1A pass rusher. And I think Yaya Diaby could be significantly better with someone to help him out.
Of course.
And he can be double-digit sack guy if he can get some help on the other side.
Yeah, agree. All right, Evan, tell everybody how they can get your content, my friend.
Yeah, at Closky WTSP. If you want to see that whole, Rays state of the Rays press conference, I posted it there for everybody to see. You can check me out on Twitter, ask me questions, whatever you want. Also, 10tampabay.com and 10 Tampa Bay Plus. We got everything cooking. Rays starting. We're always talking Bucs off season. The Lightning will be back in a couple of weeks. I'm sure we'll talk about them soon enough, as I got high hopes for them as well.
Yeah.
All right.
4 Nations, and I'm going to be watching 4 Nations. That's going to be fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
Big game tonight. We got John Cooper and the 3 Bolts versus Victor Hedman in Sweden. Gensel plays tomorrow, so that'll be really cool. I'm really excited to see that stuff happen.
Are they playing this on international ice or on NHL ice?
I think that's a good question.
Because it's kind of an
it's all
NHL thing, right?
All NHL rules. All NHL.
Okay, so I didn't look into it like that. I know they're in Montreal tonight. That's it.
You got to get highlights on the Late Show. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Evan. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Right, Evan Closky right there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
All right, great Evan Closky.
There's a lot there. I want to take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we're going to play a little bit of that State of the Rays that Evan put up, and talk about Eric Neander and Cash and where the Rays are headed. All that and more. We're coming to you live from the Jeeves Law Group studio, our beautiful Jeeves Law Group studio here in downtown South Tampa, as we like to say. It's Soho. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. If you have any legal issues whatsoever, the Jeeves Law Group, go ahead and give them a call. Just go to the website, jeeveslawgroup.com. Email them or call them. Say, I want my free case evaluation, and they will take care of you. jeeveslawgroup.com, jeeveslawgroup.com. Back in 3.
Make this Valentine's Day a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the Downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at alessipromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Oh, no. Already this morning, I've been called out by one of our listeners.
I see it.
I'll get to that here in just a second as we do our comments. I'm sorry. I have a little allergy thing there. I'm going to go into a multiple sneeze here in a moment now. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, folks. Valentine's week. What is it, Wednesday? It's coming up on Friday. You guys can do the math. That means you need to get your ass over to the Gold and Diamond Source today. They've always got a great selection, even though at high volume times like this, they've got so much inventory there. As soon as they sell it, they're putting something back out on the floor. So you don't have to worry about things being picked over. You don't have to worry about high prices. You don't have to worry about being intimidated. It's so easy. Just walk in there. They greet you, get you a bottle of water, whatever you want to drink. And then you do some shopping, say, hey, trying to find a pendant for my wife for Valentine's Day. I got a couple $100 or I got $50, whatever it is. They say, come on in. We'll show you some stuff. And, just make it so easy. That's like dealing with family because they are family. They're one of our family here in Tampa Bay. Julie and Steve have been here for 40 years working that thing over there. So, and also, if you're getting a diamond, it's going to be what they say it is. And you get buy one, get 40% off the next piece. Buy one, get 40% off the already low prices. So you're going to get a great deal on 2 pieces of jewelry, maybe one for you, one for her, a watch for you, pendant for her, whatever you want. The next one's 40% off. So head on over to the Golden Diamond Source for your Valentine's. They'll wrap it all up for you, make it nice and easy, and then you're done. Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at goldendiamondsource.com.
Wow, we got a winner.
We do?
We do.
Here's the winner today. Wes O'Connor, good morning to you, taking me to task. How about we talk about Gators basketball smashing the college ranks, beating 2 number ones in the same season and absolutely smashing everyone on their schedule. A lot of smashing going on in Gainesville.
Yeah.
If FSU was doing this, JP wouldn't shut up. Well, let me tell you something, Wes. You're right. You're 100% right. We have talked about the Gators, but we have not given them their due. You're 100% right. I am wrong, and if FSU was doing this, I wouldn't shut up about it. You are 100% right.
They're no Alabama or Auburn. I mean, come on, let's not jump the gun here.
Come on, they're really good. They're really, really good. I watched that Kentucky game a couple weeks ago. Watched a bit of they just beat Auburn too, right? They're really, really good, and they got a chance to win the national championship.
They do. Yep, I agree. As a matter of fact, the great TJ and I talked about that on his college basketball show not too long ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's right. Tell me about that. I saw you moonlighting on me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I do what is asked of me, So when I have someone begging me multiple weeks to come on their show, sometimes I just acquiesce, and I'm like, look, I'll give you 4 minutes, 5 minutes if we talk about the Aggies. So there we go.
There you go.
But,
how's Texas Tech doing?
They're doing well. They're doing well, JP. They're just right behind Houston and Arizona State in the Big 12 standings, and they've got a real shot at they're number 12 in both polls.
Nice.
So yeah, things are looking up, and I'm excited about the Texas Tech season for sure in the tournament.
Yeah, I just can't dial into Wes, and I apologize. I just can't dial into college basketball until football's over.
Yeah.
So now it's because now we know who's good and who's not.
Yeah.
And Florida's absolutely Walter Clayton Jr. just is an amazing player. So yeah, we need to give them a little bit more coverage, and we will. We'll get somebody on from the Gators. I think Chris Harry covers them for FloridaGators.com. So we'll get Chris on this week, I promise. And we'll talk some Gator basketball. We'll get Coach Z on, our basketball aficionado, and talk some Gator basketball. I'll give him an assignment to go find out what's going on. Unfortunately for Florida, with this great season they're having, most of the coverage has been on the 2 Title IX sexual abuse lawsuits, which have been dealt with and done away with. They've investigated and cleared both coaches. So, that's a shame. I think it's been a little bit of a cloud over their head. So now they can move forward, and being as good as they are through all that, which is I'm sure has taken up coach's time and energy, and they're still killing it. So yeah, hats off to the Gator basketball team. I will endeavor to cover them a little bit more, because what else are we going to talk about as far as March Madness goes? I mean, Florida State obviously doing nothing this year. USF is struggling. They're not going to make the tournament. They're not making postseason. Miami's coach quit. I mean, there's not much local interest beyond the Florida Gators, who are killing it. So it will be our team, and we'll watch them go through March. And I think they have a legitimate shot to be the national champion. They really do.
Yeah, and look out for, on the women's side, look out for TCU, the number 9 women's Horned Frogs, as I'm covering TCU apparently now too for Athlon Sports, as they've asked
are
me
you
to do
now?
that. Yeah, but
wow,
I mean, the men's basketball team ain't really that great, but the women's team, look out. They got that Haley Van Lith over there, formerly of Louisville and LSU. She's with the Frogs now, and
she's with the Frogs. Oh,
yeah.
What kind of money these girls making? These NIL girls making? I mean, Caitlin Clark made what, $4 million last year?
I'm guessing they make like $25 a game. I mean, that's what they used to make, but probably make more than that now.
Yeah,
I bet you they're making more in college than they're making in the WNBA.
Oh, there's no question. Yeah, I mean, Caitlin Clark took a huge pay cut. Well, she didn't, because he just picked up the endorsements, with the WNBA.
But salary-wise, there's no way they're matching that.
Yeah. Rick is up this morning. Says, JP, looks like you got lucky last night. He's glowing. I got lucky to go see the Neil Diamond.
You got to see the Neil Diamond thing, yeah.
I tell you what, the guy who played Neil Diamond was so good. He was so spot on, bro. I mean, he sounded exactly like him. So if I'd never seen Neil Diamond, but I did last night, and so I highly recommend anybody go get your tickets to the Straz. Obviously everybody knows Sweet Caroline, but he's got so many he's sold over, I think, 120 million albums.
Yeah.
Neil Diamond. I mean, and his personal story, which is kind of the spine of the musical, the story of the musical, is really it's somewhat tragic. And it's just, it's a typical story of a guy who is thrust into, I mean, at one point he was the most popular entertainer in the world. Selling out concerts, and he just would not stop working, forsaked his family because of it. Because he's one of those guys that thought if he stopped for 5 seconds, he would lose everything. And obviously that's not true.
So so those of us that are huge Neil Diamond fans know of his catalog, but he also wrote songs for numerous other artists. A lot of the Monkees hits.
Yeah, I'm
he
a
wrote
believer.
A lot of the Monkees
was his
songs.
First hit. Yeah,
I'm a believer. A little bit me, a little bit you. The theme to the Monkees. He wrote all of those. A lot of people may not know the '80s hit "Red Red Wine" by UB40, written by Neil Diamond.
Yes. Yes, very good. Look at you.
Oh, dude, I know my Neil Diamond, man. Kentucky Woman by Deep Purple.
Yes.
Neil Diamond song.
Great song. Great song. And he was the quintessential entertainer as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the Vegas show. He was it. And it's just an incredible life. But, it's interesting. We see these guys on stage and we see, Elvis and Neil Diamond and all these incredible people, and they've got all the money in the world. They've got everything you could, from a materialistic standpoint, you could possibly want, but they're not happy people.
Yeah.
They're tragically unhappy people. And that's wild, man. That's really.
And those of you that haven't seen it, please go just rent or whatever on whatever streaming service you have. Watch The Jazz Singer from 1980.
Yeah.
The only Neil Diamond movie, and it was sort of loosely based on his true life experiences with his father and their relationship and him sort of becoming famous overnight. But it's a really, really great show. It's got Lucille Ball, and Desi Arnaz's daughter plays the female lead in it. She's really, really good. But yeah, it's a great flick, man. Y'all check it out.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. All right. So back to the Rays a little bit. Again, and I wasn't trying to be, and I appreciate the way Evan handled that question. I wasn't pointing the finger at him. It's just, and we know what Eric Neander is going to say, but that's where we are with the Rays.
Yeah.
It kind of hit me this morning as I was trying to, I'm prepping for kind of the monologue, and I'm like, and John Romano, I thought, wrote a great column yesterday about this, and he came up with that stat about the three guys they added have such less power than the three guys they got rid of. And you had the second worst offense in baseball last year, and you took away three of the biggest hitters. And obviously they were traded last year, later in the season, but still. So I mean, average, yeah. That's why he said if we get to average, we're doing good offensively. But that just begs the question: it's like, why do you not go out and get hitters? Why do you not, when you're the second worst offense in baseball? Yeah, I get it. You can try to, and you go back to the 22 season was really bad. And then 23, they broke out and scored like 860 runs. And then they went back to crappy in 24.
Yeah.
So what is it that tells you that 22 and 24 are probably more likely than 23? Yeah, it happened. You turned it around. Everything went right that year. Chances of that happened again are nil. And he knows that. That's why he's just hoping to have an average offense. But where is it said you have to have an average offense? Why can't you? Well, we don't want to block people coming up. Sign guys for 1 year, 1 or 2 years. There are people out there that you can go pay and will come hit for you. And, well, then we'd have to, get rid of this guy or that guy. Okay, well, they're not hitting. Get rid of them. It just, I don't know. It to me, This is just a lifelong. We've now come to accept it that we're going to be an average team. And Neander even said that in his quote. He's like, I know I'm going to get, basically, I'm paraphrasing, I know I'm going to get crap for saying this. And that's why Evan said, I appreciate the honesty. And I do too. I do appreciate the honesty. But he's like, he's resigned to the fact that, I can't go out and sign hitters. Like, you're the second worst offense in baseball and you can't go out and sign hitters. I mean, what are we doing? Like, we've come to accept that, and that's why
shouldn't be that hard.
And I know what the answer is going to be. Just like Evan said, I know you're right. I know, but it's like it's almost the question needs to be asked to remind everybody this is not the way it's supposed to work. This is not the way it's supposed to work. Like the Bucs, you have holes, you go out, you spend money, you fill them, you fix your team. The Lightning, same thing. You need certain things. You go out, make trades. JBB goes and gets Gensel, lets Stamkos walk, improves the team, blah, 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 blah. Gets rid of Sergachev, brings in J.J. Moser, Connor Geeky, blah, 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 blah. And he's constantly moving and improving the team. And you're in a league, and you say, well, those teams have salary caps. That's right. So it's harder. You could spend as much as you want. And again, I just gave you the numbers. They're going to sell. They probably sold $150 million worth of season tickets, and your payroll is $72 million. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And they're going to say, "Oh, we're going to lose huge money playing in the minor league ballpark." No, you're not. No, you're not. That's a lie. It's a false narrative. And that's just, again, you have revenues over $300 million with revenue sharing money, and central fund money and everything else, and television contracts and radio contracts and sponsorships, which of course the luxury, I would think the luxury boxes are going to be even more expensive this year because they actually point towards the field. And, I mean, the boxes in Tropicana Field were awful and empty all the time. So, and I think they have 13 at Steinbrenner Field, and there's some other premium things they can do in right field as well. So, I mean, the revenue is there. So this whole, and I know it's going to come from Stu when he does his State of the Race thing. Oh, we're going to be losing a lot of money in revenue. That's an absolute, just like everything else that comes out of his mouth, completely untrue. Completely untrue. May there be some loss of revenue? Maybe. I you do the numbers. I can't see the numbers, but I'm just doing them, based on what their ticket prices were, how many tickets they sold, because they, I know how much the home run boxes were, how much the Loge boxes were, how much the regular seats were. We can do the math on this and figure it out. It's about 130. I would say at the bottom, it's 130 million. Could be as high as 170 million. So there's plenty of money that's coming in. And this is what's going out. It's unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. That's why all these other teams spend at least $150 million because they can and they want to. Your guy does not. He wants to pocket as much money as possible and has been forever. And it's just, and I know you've heard me say this before, but it's like the questions aren't even asked anymore. They're not even asked. Yeah. Like this is the most obvious. I mean, am I missing something here, Tim?
I don't think so.
I mean, it's just like, oh, we're the second worst offense, and we didn't sign a hitter. Well, Ha-Seong Kim is, he's a shortstop. He's not a slugger. He's a pretty good offensive piece. I'll give you that. If he's going to get healthy, a good leadoff guy, no question. That's something you need. But then what? But that's like the bare minimum. Like, okay, so you improved on a shortstop that was hitting 180. Oh, great. Great. Fantastic. All right. What's next? What's next? What are we getting out of the outfield? What are we getting out of center field? What are we getting out of left field? All right. We hope Christopher Morel will be better. Well, go sign somebody to make him better. Go sign an outfielder that can hit. Come on. I mean, it's obvious, right?
Maybe just do something, right? Just do something.
Yeah. Just do something. I mean, you have the money, and to sit there we're Stu doesn't give us a number. And I've heard Eric say that before. That's ridiculous. That's on its face ridiculous. I know he has to say that. And I'm not picking on Eric at all. I think he's a freaking genius. And to be able to do what he's done is amazing. Just imagine if he had league average payroll. That would be doubling his payroll.
Yeah.
That's you don't think you could go buy some offense? You don't think you could go buy some offense to compete? And I hear people say, well, the pitcher's going to be good. All we need is a league average offense. Well, that's all we aspire to is a league average offense. We got great pitching. How about we augment great pitching with some great hitting? Go buy some hitters. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, we went over the numbers to start the show where the Rays are in comparison to the other teams. The Rays are at 26 out of 30 at $72 million. And we said league average, let's see, number 15 on the list, your Baltimore Orioles in the division, 151. So literally double.
More than double.
And look what they do every year.
Mm-hmm.
So
that huge Baltimore market that there is, that huge affluent Baltimore market.
Yeah. All the rich people in Baltimore.
Yeah. All the rich people in Baltimore. They come into the games. Yeah. Yeah. They can spend 150 million, but we can't. Like, we can't even come close. It's just, I know it's accepted. I know it's, we don't even ask the questions anymore. I won't stand for that. I will not stand for that. We still have to keep pushing and still have to keep asking. You're not going to just accept mediocrity. It's not cool. It's not cool.
And you have to keep pushing. There's been a culture already built with the Rays. It's a culture of success and winning. Yeah. And now that for some reason and not that they're not successful and not winning, but they could do a whole lot more if they would just spend an average amount of money. We're not even asking for a $200 to $300 million payroll. We're asking for just the average amount of money that the payroll that the owners spend in the MLB for payroll. Just spend the average and
get
think
to
about what this team
125.
can do.
St. Louis is at 125. They're 19th in payroll. That's another $50 million in payroll. Like, my God. I mean, you could have afforded Pete. You could have got Pete Alonso. Not that he wanted to come here.
No, but
there's tons of hitters out there that you could have bought, at least 2 or 3 with $50 million that are better than what you got. Well, where are they going to play? I don't care. Outfield. Yeah. We got nothing in the outfield in terms of power. You could say Josh Lowe. Okay, great. Let's see it again. We've had one good year, you know. I just, and that's what you're counting on. It's like completely ridiculous, and nobody's saying it's ridiculous except me. Like, right. It's ridiculous. I know it's what we've come to expect, but it's ridiculous. Shouldn't be. All right, we're going to play a little bit of Neander and Cash in our second segment. I'm going to get to the Four Nations, some other fun stuff going on around the sports world. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We are brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Great time to do an insurance checkup. It's never a bad time, right? Just to save you some money. Get your homeowner's insurance checked out. Make sure you have enough insurance. 40% of people are underinsured in their home. So it's a tough lesson that people are learning in these insurance negotiations now. Like, hey, I got to replace my home. Well, it was only insured for $250,000, but it's worth $500,000. Yeah, that's on you. Oops. You know, you got to make sure you have enough insurance. So if the value of your house has gone up, you got to put more. It doesn't cost you that much more either, but you got to have it. So make sure that you do, and just call Italiano. They'll make sure for you. 813-877-7799. And they'll check with some more companies that are coming into the marketplace that may be able to save you money. Happens all the time. So just give them a call. It's free call. They do all the work. You save all the money. Auto, business, everything. Italiano Insurance. Back in 3. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, why not kick off 2025 by popping the question? Yes, and you know where to get that perfect engagement ring. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. The best prices, the best quality, and yes, get her a real diamond. You don't want to go with the fake stuff. And January's birthstone is garnet for all you FSU fans, right? Get 15% off all the unforgettable garnet jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source. Also, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub, a sleek and modern jewelry line that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And don't forget, you have any unused gold? Turn it into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. You can do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
This Valentine's Day, a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the Downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at AlessiPromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on Fan Street.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this Wednesday hump day. Talking a little Rays baseball. Their pitchers and catchers are starting their workouts this morning. Popping that leather. We are brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing. Third Generation Plumbing, folks, if you have any AC issues, they do AC as well. They do plumbing, anything around the house. They will take care of it. You need some renovations or things done from the hurricane, they might be able to help you out with that as well. Just give them a call. thirdgenerationplumbing.com is the website. John Rodriguez is the owner. He's a tremendous dude. He's been in business here for this business since 1995. The family's been in Tampa since the early 1900s. They are a Tampa staple, and they will be able to get out there and do a great job for you. Honest techs that come out and don't try to sell you something you don't need. It's refreshing. It's thirdgenerationplumbing.com. They do AC and anything else around the house. So if we're looking for an honest contractor to get some work done, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we met with an advertiser yesterday, Timmy, that will be coming on board. That does
very nice
construction, renovations. If you need a contractor to get your hurricane stuff done, if you've unfortunately been screwed by a unscrupulous contractor, they might be able to help you out. So we'll give you more information about that next week.
Well, there's a ton of those out there, aren't there?
Oh my God, yes. I was working with Laura Baker this weekend, who works at HSN or used to work at HSN, and she had some issues at her condo, and she said she interviewed 10 contractors. She said every one of them were snakes, every single one of them. And it's like, how do you find honest people? Well, Third Generation Plumbing, honest. Good folks. Go for the people that just have been there for a while. I mean, look them up. Look for the Google reviews. That matters. Yep. Really does. So make sure you're doing your due diligence. All right. John Hill out there says, with Jalen Hurts' Super Bowl victory as a starting quarterback in the NFL, he entered a very elite club to win both a college national championship and a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback. Can you name the other two members of the club?
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana did not win a national championship.
I thought he did with Notre Dame.
Did that Cotton Bowl win give him an? I don't know.
I guess not.
I don't think so.
Let's see. Was Brady the starter at Michigan?
They never won a national championship.
97. He was on that 97 team. But I think he was playing behind Brian Greasy. He wasn't the starter.
I think he was. Yeah.
I mean, I know he was on it.
He wasn't the starter. Yeah, he definitely was not the starter. He definitely was not the starter. I would starting quarterback. Golly, that's a tough one. Not Jim. I don't think Jim Plunkett won. For some reason, his name is in the back of my head.
Joe Namath.
Did they win a national championship at Alabama? Maybe. No. I don't know, John.
Aikman was on the 85 OU team, but he wasn't the starter. He was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a good question.
Oh gosh, that is. I'm trying to think of the Miami quarterbacks. Any of the Miami quarterbacks? No, never good pros.
Stabler?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think he might be. I think that might be. Yeah, I think he won a national championship at Alabama. All right, not great sports radio, but just give us the numbers.
Joe Montana is one of them. Joe Montana won a national.
And Joe, you got them both, Joe Montana and Joe Namath.
Is that right?
Yeah, 60. what, 66 at Alabama? 66 or 67, maybe?
Yeah.
That's very good. Good trivia there. All right, Hunter Tubbs, good morning to you, my friend. Projected lineup when healthy: Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, Junior Caminero, Josh Lowe, Christopher Morel, Jonathan Aranda, Hassan Kim, Danny Jansen, Johnny DeLuca. Yeah.
Not a lot of power at the bottom of the lineup there.
Well, first of all, Yandy's 33 years old and declining. Doesn't hit for power. He won a batting title. It's great, but doesn't hit for power. Doesn't rack up a lot of RBIs. And Hassan Kim, by the way, has got to be your leadoff guy. He's your leadoff guy. Steals bases, much better average. Well, not better average, but on base percentage. But I hate Yandy at the top of the order because it clogs up the bases. That's not good. Brandon Lau, stay healthy, bro. Short porch in right field. Hopefully he could have a huge year. Junior Caminero, look, he's 21 years old. Major League Baseball is tough. It's hard for rookies to make a huge impact. So yeah, I think he's got all the tools, but I don't think he's ready to carry an offense. Josh Lowe is a huge freaking question mark. Plenty of talent, but I don't know if he has the temperament to be a superstar in this league. I know he has the talent. He has the tools. I don't know if he has the temperament. I don't know if he has the competitive edge. I don't know. We've gotten one good year. So again, question mark. Christopher Morel, I saw nothing last year that made me think he's ever going to be a consistent offensive player. But hey, change of scenery here, different year, playing outdoors, whatever. Maybe there's something in there. Jonathan Aranda, all he's done is mash at AAA, and at the end of the season last year started to be more consistent. He's got a shot to be a good hitter in this league. He does, but not, again, not a whole lot of huge power there. Not, good, like decent power above average, but not a slugger. I wouldn't call him. Hassan Kim is a good offensive shortstop. No question about it. He can be a key at the top of but again, he's not a power guy at all. I mean, he hit 18 home runs his best year, but he averages about 9-10 home runs. Again, not a slugger. Danny Jansen, who by the description yesterday by Eric Neander, I think I want to date him. I think you want him to marry my daughter. Like he must be.
Want to take him to see Neil Diamond?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. He sounds like the nicest guy, the greatest guy on the history in the history of the game. So can't wait to meet this dude, man. Evidently, we're going to play the interview. I don't know if it's but that I've never heard anybody talk about a player like Eric Neander talked about Danny Jansen. I was like, wow.
I mean, I like Danny. He's okay. I mean, he's a catcher.
He's not okay. He's the greatest guy ever.
Well, I mean, as a player,
I can't wait to meet the guy. No, and he's a good catcher. But again, he's not a guy that's going to hit 30 home runs.
No,
he's a 9, 10, 11 home run guy. Johnny DeLuca offensively is just garbage. He's just garbage. I mean, you got an outfield of Morel, DeLuca, and Josh Lowe. I feel like I'm looking at the Joker's costume.
Great.
It's nothing but question marks. Question marks everywhere. Wasn't that the Joker's costume? Or was that the Riddler?
The Riddler. That was a Riddler. Yeah.
It's like watching what was that guy's name? Frank Gorman? No, that was something like
I could have said it if you wouldn't have just thrown that name out there. Frank Gorshin.
Frank Gorshin. Yeah. Frank Gorshin. He was great. The Riddler.
He was awesome, man.
He was like a spaz.
And Cesar Romero was. Think about that all-star lineup on that Batman TV show. Cesar Romero, Frank Gorshin.
Catwoman was Miss America. What was her name?
Oh, all of them. Like you had Julie Newmar. Oh, Julie Newmar.
Ooh, holy moly! Yeah, Cesar Romero, first Grand Marshal of the Illuminated Night Parade crew of Santiago, 1974.
Really?
Yeah, he was the first Grand Marshal of the Night Parade in Ybor City. How about that? A little bit of trivia there for that.
Big time, yeah. Lee Merriweather was also Catwoman at one point.
Yes, Lee Merriweather. That's who was
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, dude. Like was fire.
Eartha Kitt.
I just remember Lee Merriweather from Polaroid camera TV commercials in the 70s with James Garner.
Yeah, wasn't she Miss America? Lee Merriweather? I think she was.
Miss America 1955.
Mike H says Aranda was sent back down last year and is a question mark. You're damn right he is. They all are. They're all question marks. Which usually, if you have all question marks, not good.
How come
article today?
How come the Rays weren't interested in getting Nathaniel Lowe from the Rangers back? They traded him off to Washington
because he costs money. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You know, there were lots of hitters on the market in this offseason.
I mean, John Daniels is in the front office, right? For the Rays now?
I think. I don't know.
I mean, last time I talked to him, that's where he said he was going, was to Tampa Bay. But he's obviously not in front of cameras or anything, but I mean, isn't he like a consultant or something for the Rays?
I don't know, to be honest with you. All I know is they ain't buying anybody. Ain't buying any hitters. Mike H says, article today states if Rays can't show their $700 million share or back out by March 31st, the deal is over and St. Pete keeps the land. MLB City and County put the squeeze play on Stu. Yeah. Yes, Mike, this is all old information and it is going to, but thank you. Yes. It's not going through. They've already fired all the people that were supposed to work on the stadium. I reported that last week, or furloughed them. Everybody they brought in to work on the new stadium, they have furloughed. Trust me, they're not putting in the $700 million. I'm not sure that Stu has it. I told you that the lawsuit that the partners brought, there was a settlement, and of course NDAs all around, no public word or reporting on what the settlement was. But I talked to a person who would have knowledge of said settlement, wouldn't give me the exact number, but he said it was huge, so big that it may have kept Stu from being able to put up the $700 million or show the $700 million that they're supposed to put in. So again, can't confirm that reporting, it's just something that I've heard. It would make sense now that, that happened after they had already committed to the deal. And I think he was forced to settle because we talked about this for a long time. And when the judge said, hey, we're taking it to trial, at least one of these counts is going to trial, which means public discovery, depositions, all that stuff, that ended, any leverage that Stu had at all in negotiations because MLB was going to force him to settle that. And when, the people that were in this, and I told you many, many times, they were not going to settle. They wanted Stu gone. So how big did that check have to be in order for them to say, okay, it's big enough now that we're going to drop our demand that he be taken out as managing general partner? A big effing check. It was a big effing check. And of course, it's never been reported on. That's another thing that's crazy about this media market. It's one of the biggest stories. I mean, it's one of the team owners in your city that got sued by his partners and had to settle out. And it was barely ever with some egregious fiduciary misbehavior. And it was never even really reported on. It's crazy. And, no bananas. James says, if you're going to depend on the media asking Stu why he cries poor every year when Tampa Bay is a top 10 market, we die of old age before it's answered. Yeah. And of course, Stu wasn't there yesterday, so it wasn't, time for him to answer questions. And I don't know how often Stu ever answers questions from the assembled media. And certainly if I'm not on the mailing list, but I'd certainly like to know if he's going to do a press conference. I would like to be there and ask him some questions, some tough questions, but I don't think I did get one opportunity, and that was on a Zoom call, and he did answer my questions. I can't believe he called on me to ask questions, but we should replay that one time. That was kind of fun. James says maybe Mark Tompkin. It's Tompkin, but I think you know that, James.
Yeah.
How he can look in the mirror. The guy has been in Stu's payroll since he bought the team. It is what it is. He likes his job. And he knows where his bread's buttered. What can I tell you? What else?
Programming note for tomorrow, JP.
Yes.
We will have our own FanStream Sports Scott Hamilton, as well as newly recrowned ESPN Radio's Scott Hamilton.
Oh, wow.
Live from Daytona Speedway
Oh,
on the
nice.
site of the Daytona 500 this week to give us a little reporting on what's happening in Daytona.
Update here in our market, someone is flipping it's WTAN 11:50 a.m. They got a couple of FM repeaters. They're flipping formats to bring us ESPN Sports Radio.
Oh, what time? What's going to be our time slot?
I don't. Well, do we want to go back on the radio? Then we can't say all the fun words that we say. I don't know.
ESPN, that we own them. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, I mean, but ESPN Radio, I mean, in this market has never done well. Any of their shows have never done well. Have you listened to some of their shows?
ESPN does well in little towns of less than 10,000 people.
Yeah,
because they don't have any other options.
Yeah, the ESPN Radio is an absolute non-entity and of absolute zero interest in this market. Yeah. They talk about nothing Tampa Bay sports ever. And even when they're national, Greenberg's leaving, so I don't even know what shows are on there. I listen to the morning show every now and then. Canty, Michelle, and that other guy. What is that? I'm not sure what it's called.
I don't know.
It's not good. It's not good at all. I like Chris Canty, but I read the other Jamokes. I got nothing for you. James says Evan is right because the Rays would say Josh needs to hit 25 homers and Brandon as well, and Morel is a 20 homer guy. That's the answer you would get, JP. Plus, Randy needed to go. I mean, he was hitting 150. Look, I know. Listen, I know how he was going to answer the question. I'm just saying the question needs to be asked. It just needs to be brought up again, just to say, put it out in the ether. Like, let's not accept that you have the second worst offense in baseball, and in baseball you can do something about it. You don't have to just wait for the draft. You can sign free agents who are major league hitters that cost you money. You sell tickets, $135 to $140 million in revenue at least. You have other revenue sources that total well over $300 million. Your payroll should not be $72 million. Sorry. It just should not. I can do the math on that. All right. Any other comments we need to get to? Yeah. Stu keeps calling Evan, trying to get him to invest. That's another aside that is pretty funny. JP didn't drag his fat ass to spring training yesterday because he got dragged last night. Hey, it was a musical. It was fun. It was great to see. Such talented people. I highly recommend you guys go to the Straz.
I love shows, man. I love little musicals like that. I think I've said on the air, I don't know if on this show, back in the day, me and my first wife were season ticket holders for the Dallas Summer Musicals.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, we get all dressed. Of course, had a lot more money now and way less kids. I don't have any kids yet. Had my tuxedo. We would get all dressed up. We would go
nice.
to the expensive restaurant downtown. And then I think once or twice I even got a limo, and we did the whole thing. And I loved that. It was awesome.
Look at you.
I got some culture, JB.
So culture. What are we doing here? Hunter Tubbs asked if I saw the picture of Junior Caminero and LeBron. Yeah, I did.
Oh Lord.
Trying to keep it out of my head. Stay away from our superstar. God damn you. Yeah. Michael LaRue, good morning to you. Says DeLuca starting in center field is such a poor plan. Agreed. They love him some Johnny DeLuca though. They love him. He's great, good defensive guy. He's a good company guy. Pretty decent defensive player. But hell, bring Kevin Kiermaier back. He'd be a slugger on this team, an absolute slugger. All right, we'll take another break. Come back and I want to talk a little Four Nations hockey with you guys. We got some games coming up tonight and tomorrow, and some other NFL doings around the league. So stay with us. We are brought to you by Cafe Paradiso. I tell you to go get a reservation for Valentine's, but they're booked up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Too late, kids, because they're the number 3 restaurant on Open Table, traditional Italian food like no other. Try the branzino and the salsiccia. Yes, with a glass of vino. Barera. Go see our good friend Paulo. You can go tonight. You can go Sunday. If they're open Sunday, I don't know. But you've lost out on your Valentine's opportunity. But you can go next week for something. It's the Cafe Paradiso on South McDill. Go to Open Table, get your reservations for days other than Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Back in 3.
Make this Valentine's Day a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the Downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at alessipromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. If you have not made plans for Valentine's Day now, why not go see the boxing matches? Alessi Promotion, you just saw the promo there. I'm going with Ashley. We're going to have a great time. We're going to do Cafe Paradiso and then go over to the fights. So definitely working out with all of our great sponsors here. We love them all. Maybe I'll stop by Italiano and pay my insurance bills. Got to pick up something nice for Ashley at the Golden Diamond Source this afternoon when I'm over in St. Pete, and then get my plumbing replumbed. Well, that'll happen on Valentine's Day too. Third generation.
Get your plumbing replumbed, JP.
Plumbing taken care of. Hope Ashley's not watching, because then my plumbing won't be replumbed. So, yeah, we love all our sponsors. But head on over to the boxing. Hilton, they do a great job setting up the venue there in their big ballroom there, downtown Hilton. So it's going to be really fun. Great fights as well. You heard Drake Banks there from Home Assassin, the big heavyweight, and they've got the championship fight there with Stephen Ray Jr. So going to be good fights. Gloves and roses. I love the whole thing. And they're going to have all
pretty cool.
The music and all the fun stuff.
Think outside the box.
Yeah. Do something different
for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. All right. So 4 Nations starts tonight, my friend. We have Canada and Sweden. So we have Messrs. Sorelli and Point and Hagel and Cooper and JBB going up against our captain, the great Victor Hedman.
Who are you cheering for? USA.
That's one of those things. Like when I watch, it'll tell me who I'm cheering for. Like the
Right.
Super Bowl, I was like, yeah, I can't cheer for Travis Kelce. I just can't. As much as I hated the Philadelphia fans, although I know some Eagle fans, and all the Eagle fans I know, I really love. They're great people. But
Sal Pal?
Yeah, all of them. I mean, everybody I know, seriously, that's a Philly fan, are all great people, super sweethearts, like all of them.
I don't know any of them.
How are you associated with these other a-holes?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like, you people are like some of my favorite people in the world are Eagles fans, and their fan base as a whole, though, just yikes. So I was looking at the Swedish roster, and they're like plus 2,000 to win this thing. I'm like, well, wait a minute. When you start reading off the names, you're like, damn, like this is a good team too. Victor Arvidsson from the Oilers, Jesper Bratt, from the Devils, Leo Carlson from the Ducks, Joel Eriksson Ek from the Wild, Philip Forsberg from the Preds, William Karlsson from the Knights, Adrian Kempe from the Kings, Elias Lindholm, William Nylander, Gustav Nyquist, Elias Peterson. I mean, Lucas Raymond from the Zibanejad from the Rangers. I mean, holy shiz. This is a great freaking team.
Yeah, I mean, our own Dallas Stars goalie Jake Ottinger is the number 2 goalie for U.S. So
yeah. I mean, and this is the team that's I guess third best odds to win. Rasmus Anderson and Brodin from the Wild, Rasmus Dahlin from the Sabres, another one of their defensemen.
Yep.
Matthias Ekholm from the Oilers, Gustav Forsling from the Panthers, of course, Victor Hedman, and Eric Carlson from the Pens. I mean, Sweden has a great team. They have a really, really good team. They got their goalies are Gustafsson from the Wild, Markstrom from the Devils, and Linus Ullmark from the Senators. So, yeah, that's Team Sweden.
So Markstrom's not playing because he's hurt. Right. Samuel Ersson from the Flyers took his spot.
Okay, yeah, this is a February 8th roster. So
okay, I'm looking at NHL.com's roster. So
yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. Forwards for Team Canada: Sam Bennett, Cirelli, Crosby, Hagel, Seth Jarvis, Konechny, Nathan McKinnon, Brad Marchand, Mitch Marner, Connor McDavid, Braden Point, Sam Reinhart, and Mark Stone. Holy shit.
That's a loaded roster right there.
Holy
God. It should be, right? From Canada.
Like, wow, Sweden sounds good. They sound like, holy shit, let's get Canada. Oh, my God. And if you need a little bit more scoring, Cale Makar, one of your defensemen, Josh Morrissey, Drew Doughty, Shea Theodore, Taze, and then the goalies. Who's going to be starting for Team Canada? Will it be Montembeault from the Canadiens?
Right. It'll be
Aiden Hill from the Knights, or Bennington from the Blues?
I think Bennington's going to start. Or Montembeault. Man, I don't know. That's a good question.
And it's interesting because Coop has to make all these decisions.
Yeah.
Like, who are you pissing off?
Well, I don't know that you're going to piss anybody off in this thing. It's an exhibition. So that's
Bennington will start for Canada.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
All right. I would guess Bennington.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, JP. Look, and I'm all for this. I love anything they can do that's just not a regular all-star game, right? Because, of course, for those that don't know, this is in place of the traditional NHL all-star game. Or any skills competition that they'd started doing. But so there's a bit of national pride for this, obviously, because you're playing for your country, but you're playing for your country under NHL rules in an NHL sort of exhibition tournament. So it's not like the Olympics. It's not technically international play. Like how hard are these guys, especially these guys that are in that will make the NHL playoffs? How hard are these guys going to be playing? Like, I'm not saying they're going to be playing easy, but are they going to give the same effort that they would in an NHL game? You think?
I think they will. I mean, you hear these guys talking about playing for their country, and I was listening to Cirelli and Hagel and Hedman and Pointer, all of them. I mean, at some point you think, wow, is it more important than playing for the Lightning? I mean, that's how they talk. And Cooper himself, he was slated to be the coach of the team in 22, and it was a dream come true. And of course, then they nixed that because they had to make up games from the pandemic. And then, so he's been waiting a long time to represent Team Canada. And it's a dream come true. And this, I didn't realize this. This is the first international tournament involving NHL players since 2016.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
And then next year in Italy, the Olympics, he'll be representing Canada as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty daunting though. I just read off that roster, and if you're John Cooper, you come into a room. I mean, Jesus, I don't know. He's won 2 cups, and he's the longest tenured coach in the league. Like, he's got a ton of gravitas. But I also know, Coop is very. I think because he never played the game at a high level, when he came up through the ranks, he's kind of a grunt. And I think, some of the elitists in the NHL, and I don't think this is the case anymore, but 20 years ago, if you didn't play the game and you were coaching, I think that you got a side eye,
Right.
But so I think obviously Cooper's earned it all. But even for him walking into this dressing room and looking at that group of guys, you're like, holy Jesus. Like, how do you, and now you got to make decisions and like tell, guys, you're not going to get any ice time, or you're not going to get that much ice time, or freaking NHL All-Stars. Yeah. That's got to be a weird feeling. So Cooper said, here's a quote from the Times. So once the team's picked, you get a deep dive into the players and talk to them and what they're comfortable at. And every player says, just put me wherever, coach, I'm good. But that's not truly the case.
Yeah.
They do have a preference. And then there's the numbers that say they're better in one position than the other. So you just want to make sure that's where you put these guys. And then it comes down to, where do you think the chemistry is with the lines? It's just a big tangled web, and you have to unravel it. So Cooper coached some of the same players in the 2016 World Cup of Hockey as an assistant with the North American team. The squad was comprised of some of the top 23 and under players from the United States, including 19-year-old Connor McDavid and 21-year-old Nathan McKinnon. So he says, I think the more you put your face in front of them, the more comfortable they will be. Just communication, looking players in their eyes, there's got to be a comfort level there. And I just truly believe the more you do it, the more that comes about. So I'm big into that. And I think John Cooper he's the best coach in hockey. I'm a little biased, I admit it. But I also think that he is the best at managing people and managing stars. It's not easy managing Kucherov and Vasilevsky. It's not. I mean, it's just not. I'm not going to go into details and all this stuff. It's just, these guys are not easy to deal with. They're superstars, and they're Russians. They're Russian superstars, and they can be broody, and they can be moody. And they can be all that. And they're not very communicative at times. So I think it's a struggle for Coop to balance a lot of that. And you got to balance all these different personalities that I think he's obviously done a tremendous job at it, and getting the best out of players and making the team, better than just the sum of its parts. And that's what great coaches do. I don't think you could pick a better coach than John Cooper to do this, because he knows how to relate to people, and he knows how to get the best out of people, and he knows how to deal with egos. And I think he's incredibly emotionally intelligent, understanding when you got to push the buttons and when you don't. And I think you see that a lot in his post-game press conferences. It's, you kind of, I'm always when we're doing the post-game show with Brian Enblom and Chief at the Cigar City Tap Room, by the way, cheap plug, come by and say hello and listen to our show and watch it after the game. We're right after the network pregame show, so we're about 20 minutes after the game ends. And of course, you come visit us at the Cigar City Tap Room. But we talk about this all the time when we play Cooper's press conferences. Like, he's always talking to his players through the media. Always. He's always trying to get messages to them that he also shares with them in front of their face. And I don't think, but I think he's a master at it. I really do. I think Canada's going to win this thing. They're the favorite. It's not like I'm going out on a limb, but tell you what, the United States team ain't too shabby either.
They're pretty good if you look at that. Yeah.
And they're the betting favorites. Did you know that?
Yeah. I figured
they're the betting favorites.
So if you're looking at the schedule, boys and girls, Saturday is when you want to hunker down in front of the TV and just plan to make a day of it. Starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time, Finland versus Sweden. And then 8 p.m. Eastern time, U.S. versus Canada.
Wow.
That'll be the 2 big games on Saturday.
Oh, I cannot wait to see U.S. and Canada.
Yeah,
and
then
hopefully
Monday,
they meet in the final.
Yep, and then Monday you'll have Canada versus Finland, Sweden versus the United States before Thursday at TD Garden in Boston is the championship game, 8 o'clock Eastern, Thursday night, February 20th. So
tonight we have Canada and Sweden. So
correct.
all the boys playing up against Hedman tonight. That's 8 o'clock. And then Thursday, USA Finland.
Yep.
So USA starts theirs on Thursday. Then Saturday is the doubleheader.
Yep.
And all the games you just said. So we got those first 2 games coming up. So tonight, 8 o'clock is the start with the boys. And I will be watching intently tonight.
Yeah,
and that's on you'll be able to see it. It's on TNT, True TV, and Max tonight. So those of you who don't get
and then Saturday, we're talking ABC.
FanDuel.
We're on regular TV Saturday. Both games on ABC.
I'll get that with the rabbit ears.
They still have rabbit ears. I mean, everything's digital now, right?
Yeah, you can get your rabbit ears out. Yeah, you can get digital TV on rabbit ears now.
Yeah, it's the new version of the rabbit ears, right? It's the digital antenna, I guess.
By the way, so here's the USA roster. Matt Boldy from the Wild, Kyle Connor from the Jets, who's having a hell of a season. Jack Eichel from the Knights, Gensel from the Lightning, of course. I got to wear his USA jersey. God, that felt great. I got to tell you. Chris Kreider from the Rangers, Dylan Larkin from the Wings, Austin Matthews from the Leafs, and he's out there. He's going to play, right? Yeah.
Yep.
JT Miller from the Canucks, talking about a guy having a great year. Brock Nelson from the Isles, Brady Tkachuk from the Sens, Matthew Tkachuk from the Panthers, and Vincent Trocheck from the Rangers. Defenseman Brock Faber from the Wild, Adam Fox from the Rangers, Noah Hannafin from the Knights, Quinn Hughes from the Canucks, Charlie McAvoy from the Bruins.
Quinn Hughes is out. Quinn Hughes is out.
Is he out? Okay. Who's in? You know?
Jake Sanderson.
Zach Werenski from the Jackets as well. And Hellebuck from the Jets, Ottinger and Swayman are the goalies.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is going to be fun. And to answer your question, I do think that they're going to play hard. I don't think you're going to see a lot of, fully laid out checks, maybe till late in the, until we get a little bad blood going, maybe.
I mean, especially teammate on teammate, right? Like, you're not going to see probably a lot of that.
Yeah. I don't know. You might see somebody has a beef with one of their teammates and finally get it to hit them.
God, how funny would that
be? Yeah. So it looks like who's going to start? Hellebuck will start for the U.S. Have we named him yet?
I don't know.
Or you think Ottinger's going to get it?
I don't think Ottinger will get it.
Yeah. Now Hellebuck. Let's see. This article says yes. No way he's going to play every game. Mike Sullivan said he has decided who will start when the U.S. plays its first game against Finland on Thursday, but would not reveal who it is. Bitch, what's going on with that?
All right. Let's be that way then.
Why you want to do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Not very sportsmanlike.
We're going to wait to the last minute, let people know. Like, okay. Come on. Like it's some big secret, really? Okay. All right, so Four Nations. All right, we'll take one more break. We'll come back on the other side and look around the NFL. Anything else Timmy wants to talk about? Any of your comments? We'll get to your comments as well. If you got anything about the Four Nations, hit us up. I got a nice a-hole on a plane story for you, too. We got to get to.
Sweet.
Yeah, this is a real wonderful dude. All right, quick break. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo, Concierge Medical Service, folks. We were talking about this yesterday. Personalized medicine is what it's all about, folks. And if you're with one of these doctors, they're giving you one-size-fits-all prescriptions and all this stuff. No, that's not the way it should be. Get someone who's invested in your personal health. We'll give you a personal meal plan, workout plan, sleep plan, life plan to keep you healthy and keep your immune system up. Never been more important than now. So find out what it's all about. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Gets your free consultation and find out what concierge medicine is all about at BAMMC.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, JP here for my personal concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. Yeah, he's been on the show for the last couple of years, but this is kind of a new deal, and only a limited amount of you can get involved with this personal concierge service. And what I love about it, you can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. And Chris emphasizes a healthy lifestyle to help prevent illness. But when I do need assistance, he's always available. From nutrition guidance to supplement recommendations and workout advice, his expertise is a game changer. Plus, as a medical provider for the National Guard, he stays up to date on the latest health trends and practices, steering clear of the outdated conventional medicine that often relies on unnecessary prescriptions. And the best part, Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself. Take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, why not kick off 2025 by popping the question? Yes, and you know where to get that perfect engagement ring. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. The best prices, the best quality, and yes, get her a real diamond. You don't want to go with the fake stuff. And January's birthstone is garnet for all you FSU fans, right? Get 15% off all the unforgettable garnet jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source. Also, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub, a sleek and modern jewelry line that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And don't forget, you have any unused gold? Turn it into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. You can do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, can you hear me on this mic?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Ashley just texted and said, "Why not? Where's your close-up shot, honey?"
Yeah, you haven't had it on the whole show.
I know. I didn't know if my audio was going to go over, but
yeah, you just have to pull. Yeah, dude, just like you did. You just pull the other camera out and then you add yourself in on that one.
All right, so I'm now for many of you like, no, go back to the wide shot, please go back to the wide shot. I get it. Hey, don't forget, buy one, get one 40% off at the Golden Diamond Source this week on their Valentine's Day promotion. So that's a great deal, folks. They've already got the best, lowest prices there. So buy one, get one 40% off. So you can get two things for your honey or get one thing for your wife, one thing for your daughter, one thing for you, one thing for her, whatever you want to do. But buy one, get one 40% off. And, of course, if you're looking to pop the question, where else to buy the ring? I mean, are you kidding me? And you got to get a real diamond. Don't get a fake diamond, because once she finds out you got a fake diamond, you're dead. You don't want to do that. That's a bad way to get through the relationship. So go to the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at the diamondsource.com.
Every time I hear you say the word wife, all I can, and not, this is not towards yours, of course, but in my brain, all I can think of is.
Okay. Would that say something specific about one of your wives or all of them?
All of them, damn it. All the damn wives.
Ashley says, yes, that's better. Why don't you send me a close-up of you, honey?
Ooh, there you go. Yeah, we'll put it on the screen.
No, we won't. No, we will not. Hey, let's play a little bit since we have the Neander and Cash stuff. Let's play a little bit of that from yesterday, and we can make snarky comments.
Added pressure on him, but before his injury, he's arguably one of the top starters in all of baseball.
Shane.
He looks I just gave him a big hug. He looks great. I know his bullpens are on par with a normal off season. To be able to pencil him in and know the type of quality that you're going to get every fifth day is pretty special. Another year under Taj's belt, another year of health from Shane Boz. Drew Rasmussen looked, maybe better than the injuries when he came back. And Zach Littell has continued to wow us. Ryan Pepio, we could not have expected what we got from him. So I think our starting pitching and then our overall pitching, how the bullpen really came together after some difficult decisions to move some guys maybe at the deadline. We had some young players that there was a bit of uncertainty around that they couldn't have made better impressions over a 2-month period. So the pitching, and then I'd like to think offensively, this group left offensively as a whole frustrated. They came in, I think they're coming in motivated that we're better than what we performed. It's on us to go do it, but I know there's motivation to go out there and be a little bit more challenging offense than maybe what we showed at times.
That's for damn sure. Yeah.
Eric Casher, good to see you. Just for you, Kevin, in terms of Junior, you got a chance to go down and see him in the Dominican. What was your impressions, obviously, the way he played, the conversations with Albert, and what your expectations would be for him taking a step forward this year?
He couldn't have made a better impression while I was there. I saw 6 at-bats. I saw 4 balls hit over 110 miles an hour. Junior Caminero had a really impressive winter ball. And I do think Albert Pujols and that entire Escogido staff, I think hesitancy is a fair word, that when we were putting our heads together, what's best for Junior, do we want him to play, how much do we want him to play, they were tremendous with him. And we all saw how the end of the season went and had the home run that he hit. That's good for a young player to feel that type of success. I give Junior a ton of credit for the work that he put in, not necessarily he did it on the field, but probably more so mentally and nutritionally with his body and getting his body in shape. I'll be very surprised if you guys don't see a little bit of a changed physique, because he worked so hard on his conditioning to get himself in a spot where he can go out there and man third base for us as much as possible. Eric said it really well. We're incredibly high on him. It's one of those guys that when he's hitting, you make sure you don't miss a pitch, you don't miss anything. Talent's there. To have Albert Pujols talk the way he did about him, a guy that is arguably one of the greatest hitters to ever play the game, to be pretty wowed by a 21-year-old, just shows how special of a player he can be.
Guys, nice to see you. Kevin, I'll start as someone who's from the area. Just what does it mean to play in Tampa and to have that experience over there on the other side of the bridge?
Yeah, look, a little bit bittersweet. I'm thrilled for the Tampa folks that are going to come over. I'm thrilled, like Eric said, from all the alternatives that you guys heard, that I heard, the options that were being kicked around. The Bay Area is where we wanted to be. That's our fan base. So some of our St. Pete locals, I understand it's frustrating, but for the Bay Area to bring baseball over there and to play during the summer after the Yankees leave from spring training, I think it's going to be very exciting. From what I've heard, with ticket sales, I know it's a smaller venue, but it'll be fun to see some packed houses and some of those midweek games, just to have a good energy, good vibe. So our players are going to appreciate that. And again, very thankful for the Yankees, the Steinbrenner family, how top to bottom that organization has been front line with the way they have communicated with every bit of our staff, the transition. So many Trop workers have gone over there, and we're so appreciative of that, and the Yankees for allowing that. It means a lot, and we're going to be extremely respectful and appreciative of the situation that they've presented.
I'm surprised he didn't follow that with, that said, F the Yankees.
Eric, what was this offseason?
It'll be interesting when we play the Yankees.
Starting with the uncertainty of where you're going to play, and then recently the uncertainty of what's going to happen with your home and where this franchise is going to go.
Yeah, it's been a lot, and I go back to the storms, and we debriefed at the end of the year after Helene, and we came back to a lot of our traveling parties' cars flooded, and and unfortunately we have another storm that did a lot of damage and took the roof off of our home, and that was tough. And we're all parts of this community too, right? We have staff that are going through it and have been displaced, much like others have, and it's unfortunate. Like I said, I just try to keep everything in the right perspective, right? And there's uncertainty about things beyond this year. We talked about this morning. We know we're here for camp. We're grateful for that. We know we're in Steinbrenner this coming year. And really,
ask that. What do you
to
need to know?
Our jobs as well as we can be. We had a disappointing year last year. We won 80 games. You know, our focus can stay very much right in front of us, and it's probably for us where it needs to be to make sure that the things we're able to control and influence, it's making sure that this group's ready to go, right? And last camp it kind of felt like the vibe was off in camp. We weren't as sharp in camp. It carried over to the road trip to Chicago, Milwaukee.
That's interesting.
We need to make sure that we're very focused on what's here right in front of us, and we can affect that, right? And I think for our group, we talked about it. I think you're going to see it's an opportunity to galvanize ourselves around the circumstances and what's in front of us. And I think we got a group. Going back to the question about Tampa, our players are ready to go, and they're excited about it. And we're going to do everything we can to keep our focus right in front of us and make the absolute most of this year.
Love it.
I have two separate questions. Could you expand on the future? I mean, I think you have till the end of March on the St. Pete new stadium. Is Tropicana going to be ready for next season? Could you update us on anything?
Here we go.
No. Can update you on who's here in camp, and
that's it. Not talking about it. All right, that's really good. That's good, Timmy. Yeah, he's not giving us any information on that. That's not why Eric's here, and that's to his credit. It's like he doesn't need to talk about that. This is about baseball, and we talked enough about that. But I love the focus, and if any of these players, and I don't sense that they are, I sense the exact opposite. I think it is a galvanizing thing, and I've been to spring training games with the Yankees. Okay, they're packed. It's a great vibe, and now you add the emotion into that of Rays baseball and winning and playing real games at that venue. I think it's going to be spectacular, and I think when the season starts and we're a few weeks in, if the Rays can get off to a good start, and they're playing most of their games at home. Yeah. I mean, imagine if this Rays baseball team can somehow find some offensive consistency, the great pitching. And they could, the first 2 months where they're playing, I think 65% of their games at home.
Yeah,
they can get out to a lead in the American League East. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, what this entire place is going to be on fire for Rays baseball, and getting tickets is going to be tough. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's crazy. We've never had this type of excitement for baseball that we're going to have. And I think even these guys who are optimistic are underselling it. I think you're underselling it. I think it's now if the team sucks and they can't score runs, that's going to really suck. And that's why I'm so disappointed that they didn't go out and do something in this offseason to make this offense better. And again, the additions that they made are nice, but they're not offensive minded. They're not. Yeah. They're better than what the alternative, but the alternative was 180. Okay, we upped that. Great. Our catching and our shortstops were just awful offensively, and center field is took us. You say what you want about Siri, but he could hit the long ball. Johnny DeLuca ain't doing that. So I mean, you've taken steps back with the second worst offense in baseball. I mean, you did nothing. All right. So that being what it is, and that's why I'm so frustrated. Like, why didn't you go out and do something? It's right. Anyway. So if they can get that vibe going, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Hey, Michael LaRue is doing some producing here today, Timmy. What new Major League Baseball rules do you love, hate? Expanded playoffs? I like it. I mean, more playoffs and regular season games. Yeah. Universal DH, of course.
No, I'm out.
Well, I'd rather not have a DH at all, to be quite honest. I think the strategy of baseball with pitchers if pitchers can bunt, why can't other guys bunt?
Yeah.
Anyway, pitch clock, love it. Larger bases, absolutely. Shift restrictions, I was against it at first, but I like it now.
Okay with it, yeah.
Ghost runner, 100% fine with the ghost runner. Get the games over with. They're too long as they are now. It adds action to the game in extra innings. 100%, love it.
Yep. I like
pitchers must face 3 batters, limited to 2 disengagements. Yep, I think that's been a positive for the game. I think everything they've done has been a home run.
Yeah, I think they need to. I think they will at some point refine the 2 disengagements. I don't like that you're limited to being able to pick off a guy. I know why they do it.
Yeah.
But once you extinguish those 2 disengagements, now the runner basically has free reign because he knows he can't throw back over there.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily up on that. You know what? I'm all as you bring up the new screen here. I'm all for an automated ball strike system. I still think you need the umpires, obviously, but golden at bat rule, meh.
Nah.
I'm out on that. I think I would love to see the schedule go back to 154 games.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
It's 162
or
is
even
ridiculous.
144. I mean, I'd be okay at 144. So
Yeah, it's just too many regular season games. But but if you're gonna raise the ticket prices, then keep it where it's at because the ticket prices are ridiculous.
Yeah, and I do like the schedule. It's not new anymore, but a few years ago, JP, you'll remember they went back to where your games at the end of the season are basically against all of your divisional opponents to make it more competitive for the division and the races and all. And I'm big into that. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then John Hill says Cooper will have his 3 bowl players make the 4th line so that they can play together. I think so. I think all 3. I think those guys will play together. I do. He may put Point on a different line, but I think they'll play together. That makes sense. And Mike H says, which Rays player has the most surprising surge this year? I'm going to go with
Flanahan.
Because
he didn't play.
It doesn't count. I'm going to go with Aranda. I've always liked him as a hitter. I think he really found something at the end of the year. He seems more comfortable. So I'm going to go with Aranda. I think he could have a big year. That'd be nice. All right. Thanks to all you guys. Much appreciated. Don't forget AlessiPromotions.com to get your tickets for Gloves and Roses for Friday night. You haven't made plans with your honey. Say, honey, we're going to the fights. She'll love it. You absolutely love it. Don't worry about it. Girls like fights too. They really do. AlessiPromotions.com for Gloves and Roses. Do that. And of course, Golden Diamond Sword. Buy one, get one 40% off. Great job, Joe. Timmy, we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.